Welcome to one of my chilling, true, uninvited houseguest horror stories. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to say, I almost didn't make it. But here I am, telling you this story. I hope it makes someone out there a little bit more cautious, because when you're at home, in the house you grew up in, you assume you're safe, you're in control, until you realize you're not. Remember to stay until the end of the video. There's practical advice on what I am personally doing to prevent and survive a real-life home invasion. It was past midnight, my parents were out of town, and I had the house to myself for once. I sprawled out on the couch, lost in my phone. The only sound was the occasional car passing by outside. Nothing to worry about. Then I heard it. A slight, almost imperceptible sound. The front door handle rattling. I froze. The sound was so faint, I almost convinced myself I imagined it. But then it happened again. A deliberate jiggle of the handle. I wasn't expecting anyone. No one should have been at the door. My heart started pounding. A deep, bone-chilling fear creeping into my chest. This wasn't the wind or some innocent mistake. Someone was testing the lock. I should have recognized the signs earlier in the day. I noticed an unfamiliar white van parked across the street. Nothing unusual. I thought it must be a contractor working on a neighbor's house, but it had been sitting there for hours and I didn't see any workers. Later, at the grocery store, I got a weird feeling. I noticed a man watching me, his gaze lingering a little too long. When I left, I could have sworn I saw the same van again, but I brushed it off. Paranoia, right? There's 10 white vans everywhere you go. Turns out I wasn't paranoid enough. I live in a quiet neighborhood. One of those nothing bad ever happens here places. But here's the thing, crime doesn't care where you live. It doesn't matter how safe you feel. A home invasion can happen anywhere, anytime. People sit behind gated communities and think they are safe, but a fence or gate is a minor inconvenience to a determined criminal. The gate makes them think you have more expensive things to steal. It doesn't take much to drive in behind a resident when they open the gate. Easy. My house is a 2-story with a big backyard, plenty of windows and 2 doors, plus an entrance through the garage. A lot of entry points. Too many ways for someone to get inside. It seemed strange someone would choose the front door. Standing in my darkened living room, phone gripped in my trembling hands, I felt vulnerable. Then I heard a subtle click. Someone was trying to pick the lock. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen, my breath coming in short, panic bursts. My mind was racing. If they get inside, what can I do? I'm not a trained MMA fighter. I did a year of karate when I was 6, but that's not going to help me much. I'm also not some action movie hero. I'm a person, alone, terrified. When my phone vibrated, I panicked and almost dropped it. It was my sister. She was away at college. I didn't want to scare her, so I ignored it. Adrenaline took over, and I ran upstairs to the main bathroom at the front of the house, locking the door behind me. I dialed 911, my fingers shaking.
911? What's the address of your emergency?
I gave her my details, including my name and number.
What's the problem? Tell me exactly what happened.
Someone's trying to break into my house. My voice barely sounded like my own.
Okay, I need you to keep calm and stay on the line. Are you in a safe place?
I'm upstairs in the bathroom, I replied. I heard a loud thud, then another. They were trying to force the front door open. I guess the lock was too tough for them to crack. My breath hitched. They're kicking the front door in.
Officers are en route. Stay hidden and quiet. Do not confront the intruders, no matter what happens. I'll stay on the line with you as long as I can. Tell me when the officers get there.
I held my breath for a second, then took a deep breath. My only thought was, will the police get here in time? About a minute later, I heard the sound of glass shattering, then the unmistakable creak of the back door opening. I heard them moving, heavy footsteps against the hardwood floors. My stomach twisted. They were inside, and I was trapped. I gripped the knife tighter, but who was I kidding? Against an intruder, maybe several? I had no chance. I'm not going to stab anyone. I got into the bath and pulled the frosted shower door closed and laid down. They were walking around, opening drawers and cupboards. I could hear them chatting. Then my worst nightmare. One of them walked up the stairs with what sounded like deliberately heavy footsteps. He went into my parents' room and started pulling out the wardrobe. He shouted down for the other person to come up. He had found the wall safe hidden at the back of the wardrobe. It wouldn't be long now before they found me. Then I saw a most beautiful reflection through the glass, distorted flashing red and blue lights coming in through the bathroom window. Someone yelled outside. A few seconds later, there was a loud crash, then silence. It felt like forever before I heard a firm knock at the bathroom door. I froze until someone said,
"Police, is anyone in there?"
I barely had the strength to open it. I had never been so happy to see a cop my whole life. He still made me put my hands behind my head while he searched me, but I guess until he saw my ID, he didn't know I wasn't one of the gang. The police caught one of them hiding in the bedroom.
All clear.
A man in his late 40s. The van? It was stolen a week ago. The person watching me at the store was given up by the guy they caught in the house as part of a plea deal. He had a criminal record with convictions for breaking and entering and assault. They never caught the other guy who was in the house. He ran across the backyard and got over the neighbor's fence. He stole a car and got away. The last sighting of him was on a Ring doorbell before he turned onto the freeway. He's still out there somewhere. For weeks after, I barely slept. Every noise made me jump. Every shadow felt like a threat. I couldn't shake the thought. What if the police hadn't arrived in time? My parents set me up with a therapist to deal with the trauma. Although the events of that night were terrifying, some people aren't as lucky as I was. Home invasions happen every day, and not everyone gets a second chance. It can turn into something far more serious. In 2007, for instance, the Pettit family in Connecticut was targeted in a brutal home invasion. The father was beaten unconscious, and the mother and daughters were tortured and killed. The father barely escaped. In 2018, a 13-year-old girl named Jamie Lynn Kloss was abducted after her parents were murdered in a home invasion. Their murderer, Jake Thomas Patterson, held her captive for 88 days before she escaped. A courageous and resilient young girl. These are examples of regular people in their own homes, randomly picked for no sane reason. Unlike some members of these families, I survived, only because I was lucky. But luck isn't a strategy. Stay alert, trust your gut, and never, ever let a stranger into your home, because the scariest horror stories are the ones that are real. So how can you prevent a home invasion and maximize your chances of survival if you experience one? I am not a security expert or a police officer, but here are some measures that I am taking to prevent such an incident. I make no claims that these will help you in any way. They're just what I'm doing for my own family's safety. You should consult the police or a security expert for your own home safety recommendations. If you do have any tips on home safety and invasion prevention, please leave them in the comments. It may help to save someone's life. Here are some measures I have taken to prevent and survive a home invasion. I secured my home like a fortress. Deadbolt locks, reinforced door frames, and window locks are installed all over the house. Security cameras and motion sensor lights are outside. I updated my old alarm system and made sure the bushes are always trimmed to eliminate hiding spots. I make the house always look occupied. The lights are on timers when I'm away. I avoid routines, switching up the times I leave or return home. No mail or packages pile up outside. I ask a trusted neighbor to take them in. My family know to exercise extreme caution with strangers. They never open the door for unexpected visitors. There is a peephole and a security camera. They ignore people posing as utility workers, delivery drivers, or salespeople. We don't advertise any valuables by closing curtains and not discussing purchases online. My plans if an invasion happens are as follows. I designated a safe room with a reinforced door, deadbolt, and phone. I have weapons close by. Pepper spray, a firearm, or other self-defense tools, but only if legal and safe. I always obey my state laws. I drilled the escape routes into my family's routine. We all know where to go in an emergency. We stay quiet in the safe room, lock ourselves in, and call 911. Give the dispatcher our address, a description of what is happening, and our location inside the home. If possible, all phones are on silent mode. Fighting is a last resort. If confronted, we comply with the intruder if it's the safest option, especially if they just want valuables. If fighting is necessary, I have told them to use any available objects as weapons and target the eyes, throat, or groin. We run drills and I make it as scary and real as possible. They should disable the attacker and escape rather than engage in a prolonged battle. This is not the time to win a fight, only a means to escape safely. If the option is there, always run. We can get another PlayStation anytime, but we can't get another one of them. Stay safe, friends.
If you want even more scares, then check out this next video. Also, don't forget to subscribe.